Chazal say, Al yipotar adam mechaverim tich dvar alocha. So when you say goodbye to someone, you should say with a dvar alocha. Shemetoich kach zachrei. With that, you'll remember. But Gemara has a very interesting story about this alocha, and it has to do with the first week of our learning a regular schedule, because Wednesday night is our halacha shir. And we'll soon talk about this. And there's a beautiful reshima from the Rebbe, where the Rebbe says about Al Yipotar Adam Mechaveri, who's the Chaver, the Eibishter, because it says Reya V'Reya Vicha Al Tazoi Zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It says Rashi in Shabbos, and now it's a Medrash Rabbah in the beginning of Yisro. It's the Eibishter. So then in Chabad we announce Shabbos at the end of Shabbos Bereshis V'Yakov Holach L'Darkoi. That means we're going out from the Rishus HaYochid, from the time of Tishrei, which is Rosh Hashanah, Tzarei Tshuva, Yom Kippur, the 4 days, the Sukkot, Simchas Beis Sheva, Shana Rabbah, Simchas Torah. Now we're going into the year. We're going in. So how do you go into the year with a Dvar Halocha? When you go out, V'Yakov Holach L'Darko, you're going with a Dvar Halocha. Wednesday night is our Halocha Shir. And this also has to do with a Rambam that we're learning this week for those that are learning 3 Parakim Rambam. So I figured we'll do this. Wednesday night is our halacha shir. So here I have 3 pieces in this piece of paper. On the bottom is the Gemara, and on top of that, 2 separate Rambams. Just say the Shmini Atzeres, the Eibusha says, Kosher lai pridaschem. It's very difficult for me that we're going to go apart. So let's spend one more day. Let's make a Suda just for us together. And the question that is asked is, the Rebbe spoke about it many times. It should say Piridoseinu in Hebrew. Piridoseinu.
Pure.
Our Pirud. Me and you are together, and the Rebbe says it's kosher. Now we have to go apart. A long winter. You're going to be till Pesach. You're going to be journey in your own. But what does it mean Piridaschem? So the Rebbe says when the Jews are bi'achtos, we're always together. But kol shalai, it's difficult for me, pridaschem, when the Yidden are not ba'achtos one with the other. So that's very kosher. That's very difficult for the Eibishter. And when we're ba'achtos, it's as if we're together with the Eibishter the whole time. When one Jew and another Jew is ba'achtos.
Why did you say, you said kasha alai, alai it's
for me.
Say kasha alenu hapreda.
Right, or you could say that too. That's
kasha alenu.
That's why the kosher alai pridaschem. When you have pirud between you, it's kosher alai. It's very difficult for me for the Eibishter. Okay. So why? So let's stay with the Eibishter. Kinus tzadikim and all hem v'ano loylam. Let's stay a whole year with the Eibishter. No, there's a purpose. You didn't have to go. And like Chazal say in Golos, ze goyla barbaria, echad goyla samtaria. We have to go into the world. We have to have a 9-to-5 job. We have to do things, and to bring the Eibishter and the Kedusha here. Okay, but as Shabbos Bereshis turns into Shabbos Noach, we say goodbye to Chodesh Tishrei. Tonight is the first night of Cheshvan. We just had the Rish Chodesh, so we're Yipoter. We're saying goodbye to Chodesh Tishrei. We're going into Mar Cheshvan. So the right way to do it is with a Dvar Halocha. The best Dvar Halocha is the Dvar Halocha that you have to say a Dvar Halocha when you say goodbye. Right? What did the Sfardim say about the end of the meal? Before Bechat HaMazon, what did they say? Something, a few words. Ma'im Charenim Choyva. Why? Because you have to learn some Torah by the table. So what should you say? You have to take Ma'im.
So he doesn't say it?
No.
No?
No. Sfardim are very want to make sure that the table is pure. That there's for sure always going to, because there's something. So at least that's a Dvar Torah. So the thing is that this itself is the Dvar Halacha. When you say goodbye to your friend, say, oh, there's a Halacha. When you have to say goodbye, you have to say a Dvar Halacha. Oh, you just said the Halacha. Okay, first learn the Gemara. This is a Gemara in Baruch, Daf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. It's a Gemara in Erev, Daf Samad Aleph Amud Aleph. Avun the Breder V'Yirmiyah Barabba says, Al Yipoter Odom Mechaveda Elo Metoch Dvar Halacha. A person shouldn't say goodbye to his chaver only through saying goodbye through a Dvar Halacha. Shemetoch Kach, through this Dvar Halacha Zechreu, he'll remember him. Obviously, there's not enough ink in the world to say how much drush was said on this Gemara. But obviously, when a person's the thing is that when a person's connection is physical, so when we're together, it's good, and we're separate. Slowly, people love each other, they're together, but time goes by. One lives in this plane of the world, and the other end of the world, and they disconnect. But if our connection is a spiritual connection, so then time and space doesn't separate. So therefore, we'll always remember each other. If our connection is because of the Dvar Halacha, then our love and our connection will always be there. But if our connection is because, we like to have some beer and steak together, okay, very nice, it's fun. But then I'm going to one country, Echad goy le Moskva, Echad goy le Brooklyn, and you don't see each other for a year, forget about each other. Okay. The Rebbe has a nice little thing here. Why does it have to be a Dvar Halacha? A few points. Number one is, because we find by Yosef HaTzadik, when they went out to the road, he said, Al tirguzu baderech. What does it mean, Al tirguzu baderech? Pashim Pshat is, don't get with rugza. Don't start arguing in the way. Just travel. Just don't talk about this whole episode. They're going to start fighting on the way, and you never get back to Israel. Chazal say it means Al tirguzu baderech means don't learn a deep halacha, because then a person, if it learns a deep halacha, then a person gets lost. Right? That's what happens sometimes you drive. You have a deep conversation with somebody. You're talking with your wife, something. You miss the exit.
This third Rabbi Yochanan, the wife told her to pick up the garbage.
Ah.
He was in the middle of drinking, so some people say Shabbat, like almost he's almost like he's student union until somebody told him that.
It's Halloween finished, no?
It's Brooklyn. Clown is all over the place. Every day of the year.
Mr. Graham here.
Just let it go. Lock the door just in case. I'll knock on the door. So that's the din, that a person, when he goes on the road, should not learn a deep Dvar Halacha, a deep Liyuna Shakavatai, who might make a mistake on the road. Should learn halachas, psukas, halacha 1, 2, 3. So this way he won't get lost in the way. So here it goes very, very well. When a person goes out to the road, you don't start talking with him a davar pilpul, because then he'll start thinking about it. He'll get lost in the road. You're supposed to say goodbye with your friend with a dvar halacha. Another thing is, halacha is only one. There can't be. When there's a machlokes b'sham b'selus, elikim chaim. They're both elikim chaim. But when it comes to halacha, dvar havayas or halacha can only be one way. It can't be both. It's b'sham or b'selul. So when it comes to something that has to be an everlasting achdus between two yidden that are going apart, so the thing that's the best way to keep together is through a dvar halacha, because our halacha can never be in two ways. It has to always be in a way of achdus. It's to be a kol yisrael, to do the
Let's keep them as one.
As one. So now let's continue the Gemara. Okay, well, we're not talking about Mayim Achronin, now we're talking about Al Yapote.
That was a different reason.
Good, so let's continue the Gemara. Second line here in the Gemara. So we said that a person, Al Yapote, Adam Mechaver, El Motech Dvar Alocha, Shum Motech Kech Zochrei. And the Gemara brings a raya for this. Kahoder of Kahana, Al Voy Reb Simon Bar Ashi. Reb Kahana was accompanying Reb Simon Bar Ashi. And they were going to Pumnara at Beit Tzanisa de Bavel. They were going from a place called Pumnara until Tzanisa de Bavel. Kimotalo, so when they came there, Amalei Ma Vaday de Amri Inshi. This is what people say, Hanit Tzanisa de Bavel, that the palm trees in Bavel, or the palm trees in this section of Bavel, are there from the days of Adam Rishon. They adashed until today. Omar Loisa, he said to him, Atkara Milza. So Rabbi Kahana said to Rabbi Barashi, it seems, that, you reminded me something. Now I remember. That Rabbi Yosef ber Chanina, I remember now something that he said. Rabbi Yosef ber Chanina, it says in the Pasuk, a land that a ish did not pass there, and a person did not live there. If a person didn't pass there, it's like the pasuk is redundant. You say lo yovar, he didn't even pass. Obviously, he didn't sit there. If it says a sign, don't stand, obviously it doesn't have to say don't park. Ach, that called kavachoyma. Madach, you're not allowed to stand. Kolchkin, you're not allowed to park. Madach lo yovar adam shum. Versteht sich lo yoshem. Ela lo yimelach, the teacher, the pasuk tells you, kol eretz shegos lo adam rishon liyishuv nisyashem. Kol eretz shegos lo adam rishon liyishuv lo nisyashem. That if there was a land that the Adam Rishon was gozer, that should be Nisyashiv, so that land became, even if years later, if he was gozer, this land should become, that human beings should inhabit this land, so Taka, years later, human beings inhabited this land. But if he wasn't gozer, never going to be inhabited by humans. Okay, that's the Gemara. Before Shem ask, a simple question. Where's the Dvar Halacha here? It's a nice story. Rav Kahana was walking with Simi Barashi from Pumnad until Beit Zanis the Babel. He walked with him a long distance. When he came there, it was time to say goodbye. So now, this is a raya that you're supposed to say Advar Halacha when you say goodbye to your friend. What did he say? So the Simi Barashi said, you see these trees? They're from Adam Rishon. And Rav Kahana says, I remember now something. So Pshat in the Posik. So he says, the pshat is that any land that Adam Rishon goes at, that people are going to live there, that years later it became an habitable place, otherwise not. What's the halacha here? What's the halacha? Rashi says here, Tzanis is a place that call them Atkre Miltzav Zesha Omerim Imais Adam Rishon Heim. You told me these palm trees are from Adam Rishon. Shehu Gozer Lo Yisamakim Liyishuv. There must have been that he was Gozer, that place should be a place for Yishuv Tkolim, that palm trees will be a good place for palm trees. It must have been Adam Rishon was Gozer. Just like by cities only come in a place that Adam Rishon was Gozer. That Adam Rishon had this map. He said, here, Beijing, New York, Tokyo. He pointed with his finger all around that. So just like you're telling me so same thing, that's why I reminded him. He said, from Adam Rishon. He said, everything's from Adam Rishon. All the cities are from Adam Rishon. All the places, if this place should be a place that's going to be for palm trees or not, it was all from Adam Rishon.
He meant probably Florida.
What does exactly?
Florida, they have a lot of palm trees.
Exactly. Good. What's the Dvar Halacha? Where is the Halacha here? It's a story. It's a Pshat Naposek. What's the Halacha? The Rebbe brings a pshat from the Yavitz, son of the Chacham Tzvi. He says that you have to know if they're kosher lulavim. So the Mishnah said Tzine hara ba'arzel kshedim. Even though they're old, they call them, they're still fresh enough. They after a lulav vayovish is possible. So the question was if it's a lulav yovish. So the Rebbe says, I don't understand. If you want to know if it's yovish, you just cut it off the tree and check the lulav if it's dry or not. There's a simonim. The Shechnara says how you check it. So the Rebbe has another pshat, wild pshat, very, 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 very. Chap, just a chap. So a chap. In order to understand the Rebbe's answer, let's look at the Rambam. There's two Rambams here. Hilchas Lulav, Perek Ches, Halacha Aleph. Arba minim ha'elu she'ein lulav adas, v'arova v'eser, she'yechem and yovish. If one of the four minim was dry, a gozel, a gonif, it was stolen. Filo lacha yihush, I don't care if it was lacha yihush. Then it's possible. Oi, another psolus, she'im ha'sheda nevedes. If it was a tree called ha'sheda. Those days, they take a palm tree, they would plant it. And then it was a beautiful place. that was shady. They would put under the Asheda, they would put Avodah Zarah. People would gather there to do Avodah Zarah. So if this lulav comes from Asheda Nevedes, Ava Pisha Botla Asheda Malavda, even though they stopped using this Asheda to serve Avodah Zarah, doesn't matter. It's possible. If it was a city that all did Avodah Zarah and they were condemned and they were came into the category of Nedachas, a lulav from such a city is possible because of Avodah Zarah. If one of the four was Shalavodis Kechavim, from a goy that serves Avodah Kechavim, lo yitel. You shouldn't use a goy. If a goy serves Avodah Zarah and he gives you a lulav, don't use it. L'chatchila. But if you took it from the guy that does Avodah Zarah, yotze, you a yotze. Hold my farshim.
A lot of lulavim today, you don't take from Israel, you take from all over the world. Morocco, there's all going there. They are the ones that cutting it.
Who? They're not Avodah Zarah. And most of them are Muslims. The Muslims don't serve Avodah Zarah. And the truth is, if you're coming from a place of Christians, here's a good question. So here's what the Meforshim say. The Kesef Mishnah, the Elul Meforshim has a contradiction here. He says, these Arba Minim, if it was Asheda, even though the Mavatal the Asheda, Posel. And if it was from a Goy, it's only a Chatchila Posel, not all Yotza. So when do we say that it's Posel? If you shook this lulav, it's like shaking a banana. It's nothing. This is not Yotza. And when do we say you are Yotza? So the Bekes of Mishnah says, depends. If it was an Asheda that was originally planted for an Asheda... Huh?
Now I see the halacha.
You ready to get it. You ready to get it. It's a chap, huh?
Oh yeah.
It's a chap. So if it was planted for Avodah Zarah, forever, these palm trees are not kosher for lulav. Even if the goyim are going to say no more, they're going to sell it for commercial property. It's a mavatal from Avodah Zarah. A goy could be mavatal. This is very difficult. But a goy, if he says, if he throws it in, if he chops it up, throws it in the garbage, he's mavatal Avodah Zarah. But here, I don't care. It was mavatal. It's always apostle. But if it was planted for dates, to eat the dates, then he took the lulav and he decided to use it for Avodah Zarah. Then he said, nah, forget it. I'm not interested in Avodah Zarah. I want to take these lulavim and use it to decorations for my house. And mavatal it from Avodah Zarah. So l'chatchila you shouldn't take it from him if you took a yoytz. But if it was l'chatchila planted for Avodah Zarah, nothing could help. It's condemned forever and ever. Now let's learn. I see you have already the answer, but just before we get to the answer, one more down.
I just thought you're talking about lulavim from the Muslim countries. Okay, the etrogim come from Italy and Greece, which are Christians.
Right, but they're not. They don't serve. They don't bow to Saroigim. They're not. They don't bow to these things. They don't.
Excuse me. You're right. They believe in a different avodah zarah.
Right. In those days, Asheda was a common avodah zarah. But I mean, today in Italy.
But by the same token, it's even to think about it for the Muslims, it's just totally unnecessary because.
Right, you're right. Exactly.
Even if they would still be idolaters,
right.
But they don't worship the tree itself; they worship some other thing.
Right.
Like
True. You're right. It's right. Exactly. Hilchas avodah zarah halacha aleph. Rambam says, "B'mei enush, tov b'nei adam tovs gedoylo." The days of Enush, they made a big mistake. V'nivra atzas chachmei oisei adoyer v'enush atzmai min atoyim hoyu v'zu oyisei to'usam. What was the mistake? Omer hoyel v'lekim borek echav v'meila v'galgal v'han negoylo v'nosam amorim v'chalak lam kovet v'hem shemosham v'masham shalam ponem v'ruim hem l'shapcham l'forim l'chalak lam kovet. Because the Eibishter put them in the sky, the Eibishter gave them kovet, they are serving the Eibishter to do his Eibishter wants the sun to shine and the moon to shine v'chulu. So we have to praise them. That's what the Eibishter wants. Just like the Eibishter, the Melech wants that Melech wants they should respect the police. He doesn't want people spitting in the policeman's face. Why? Because then he wants that the people should respect the people in the government. So they said the Eibishter gave cover to the sun and the moon, so Mela we have to give him cover. That's what the Eibishter wants. Give him shalom davaz aliba mischil libnas the khavan kholas akrim korbanot shapkhon forum mit forum shtachs the molek lahasik let's not boide bedaita mer avze ikra vet kham kach im mevdem in mik lo shem shein shem la kala kochav ze hu sheir mi oim mi lo yroch mal khagem tel khodosa ke bkhol khakh me gem khom khos kham ein kamoge va as gas ni yevaru vi kostel mutzel havolem eitzu. That they didn't, not the pshat, they denied that there was a Eibishter. Their mistake, their kisil, their silliness was that they said for the eights that that's a deity. They thought that Hevel is there. And then the Rambam goes in, there was a bigger mistake, and a bigger mistake, and a bigger, and then finally got the full-fledged Avodah Zarah. But when did it start? From Enish. And that's the pasuk that we learned in Chumash just now, by Enish, Oz, Hucha, Likre, B'Shem Elokim. Rashi says that then, at that time of Enish, they started using a Chulin in Shem Elokim, that they were Rachman al-Itzlan, instead of believing in the Eibishter, they started to believe that a piece of rock is an Eibishter, and a piece of stone is an Eibishter, and a piece of wood is there, Rachman al-Itzlan. Okay. So yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, now you're gonna have to open it.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Mitzvah.
Thank you very much. Okay, it sounded a little Halloweenish, so
Yeah.
Coming. Labor Day.
yeah. So I see you already understand the answer. No, would you tell me what's the answer?
So basically, he passing through and he says, "This is the what's it called? The raya. That over here there was never Avodah Zarah, so they're kosher."
Very good. What does like? Shaila was Adilovim kosher.
Did she help?
The difference is like this: if they were mechatchila planted for Avodah Zarah, they would forever be possible. But if they were planted shaloi l'shem Avodah Zarah, they would be kosher. Yeah, if a guy cuts it off, then it's okay, but they can be mevatel it. Theoretically, it's kosher. So that's what he was machadish to him. That this was planted in the days of Adam Rishon. It was planted in the days of Adam Rishon.
Okay, but even this whole thing, it's not a halacha b'shutah. You have to go through this whole shock of the Torah to arrive at it.
No, it's probably there was a goddess and some goddess beforehand,
Okay.
and then
We have to say something.
What do we got here?
So,
Food. Ready?
Pshat it is. That was the Dvar Halacha. Again, so the Dvar Halacha was like this. The question was, would these lovim be kosher? So he said, yeah, because it was planted in the days of Adam Rishon. And this is before Enish. So obviously they were not planted for Avodah Zarah. So these groves, these forests that are in Bavel, and Sunisa the Bavel, those lovim would be 100% kosher. That's what he was trying to say.
In his time, they made the tower, right? This was after him.
That was much after. But until Enosh, they never served Avodah Zarah. So anything that was planted in the days of Adam Rishon could not have been planted for Avodah Zarah. That's just like achap. Okay.
let's brings it in the Maimer.
No, the Sicha. One of the Sichas that I used to talk always a Sicha to say goodbye to the Orchim. And then the Rebbe talks about it in Avodas Hashem. Two things in Avodas Hashem. So you get the answers. The answer is very simple. That if it was planted, there's Adam Rishon, there's a halach here. Now I know it's kosher lulav, 100% kosher. Because if it was planted later, it could be a shayla. Maybe it was planted by people of Avodah Zarah. Now, what does it teach us in Avodas Hashem? The Rebbe has two things. It's interesting that I found that in the reshimos, they had found the Rebbe's desk, they had found notebooks that the Rebbe wrote to himself over the years. They had published it. It took them a couple of years, and they published it. There's like eight volumes of. There is a little reshima that the Rebbe wrote to himself about this Gemara Al Pi Kabbalah, and then there's also what the Rebbe had said originally in this. So one word is like this. That lulavim is the inyan of Torah. Lulav is inyan from Torah. Lulav is merama is Torah, right? Esriga. Lulav is Torah. Torah, the chefts of Torah is never makabel tuma. Dvorek ish, not makabel. The person, the Gemara says it can be zoicha, you can learn it, and it's a samchaim. And because Lo Zoch, can learn Torah and Chas v'Shalom be the opposite of Sam Chaim. Why? Because if a person learns it with Gaiva is like Avodah Zarah. So then, Chas v'Shalom, the Torah, if a person learns Lishma to get close to the Eibishter, and he learns it in the way that he's devoted to the Eibishter, that's great. That it becomes Sam Chaim. But if a person, Chas v'Shalom, learns it because he wants to be a big Baal Gaiva, so Chas v'Shalom, the Torah could become the opposite of Sam Chaim. So from that comes Shikha also. It's brought that Shikha comes, a person that forgetfulness comes from Klippa. By Kedusha is ein Shikha lefnei Chesach v'Decha. In Kedusha there is no Shikha. In a place, but if a person learns Torah Lishma, a person would never forget. A person that forgets, because they're not learning Torah absolutely Lishma. So therefore, that's what happened over here. He says, I remembered. There was an Indian of Shikha here. And he remembered. He said, now that you reminded me of Odom Rishon, the koyach of Odom Rishon, every neshama has an Odom. All the neshamas come from Odom Rishon. But the idea of Papi Kabbalah brought in Torah Oir and brought in many places of Chassidus that the Odom Rishon and the neshama is the bittul part of the neshama that's totally bottled. Now that you're ma'oir the part of a neshama which is Odom Rishon, he said, these lulavim, L'shalom Maramas and Torah are planted from Odom Rishon days. You were ma'ored the Odom Rishon of Neshama, which is bittul. Now I remember. Once a person is ma'ored the Odom Rishon is Neshama and learns Torah Lishma, so then instead of forgetting, he remembers even the things that he forgot already. And then he said, what was this thing that he remembered? He remembered this thing that Odom Rishon was goyzer at many places in the world, that will be a place that will be an habitable place. It will be a dira b'tachtonim. So that's one thing in Avodas Hashem. A second thing that Rebbe wrote in his reshimos, which is Api Kabbalah. Also a little bit of Avodas Hashem, but mostly Api Kabbalah. This is in the Reshimah 24. This was published many years ago already. This was one of the first reshimos that came out. As a printed Tov Shin Nun Vov. It's already 20 years ago. So here's the word. So as we said before, Al Yepotar Odom Chaveda means that who's Chavedoi? The Eibishter. The end of Todesh Tishrei is Yaakov Holach Ladarke. We're going into the road. We're going out of Tishrei into the long winter, and Avodas Hashem bringing the Eibishter into the world. So Al Yepotar Odom Chaveda. Who's Chaveda? Chazal say Re'echa Ve're'echa Avicha Al Tazav Ze HaKodesh Baruch Hu. So in order to part with the Eibishter, it has to be Metoich Dvar Halocha. Chazal say Al Tikra Lichas Ela Halochas. It's Halichas Olam. Torah shows us how to make the roads into the world. And Torah Dvar Halocha Dafke brings down the Eibishter in the lowest place in the world, even more than mitzvahs. And mitoich Dvar Halocha, we have to bring into the world the pnimius of the Dvar Halocha. The pnimius of the Dvar Halocha is the gilui of the Eibishter. There is the Halocha, what to do, but the pnimius of every Halocha is the Eibishter. And why do we say Dafka that we bring that in order that our connection should be strong is Dafka through Torah? You could say through mitzvahs. No, because there's a mila Godel Talmud Shemevil Demaisa. Chassidus explains that there's a certain mila that Torah makes a yid even closer to the Eibishter than mitzvahs. To Torah is the Gilui of Pnimius of the Eibishter and the Pnimius of the Neshama. So Dafka, there's a mila in Torah. So before we go from the Eibishter and we go into the road of the long winter, we have to do something which is a Dvar Halocha. That's our Wednesday night shir, is our Halocha shir. So we dedicate ourselves to do a Dvar Halocha, and that brings the Kedusha of Chodesh Tishrei into the rest of the thing. So then the Gemara continues, a story. There was Rav Kahana. Who's Rav Kahana? Kahana is a Kohen. Kohen is Isha Chesed. So Isha Chesed is, he brings the Gelakus from the Eibishter, he's called Shoshvina de Matronisa. Aaron HaKohen is called Shvina de Matronisa, means, in the Zohar says in many places, that Aaron HaKohen is the Shoshvin of the Yidden, that bring the Yidden close to the Eibishter. So the Gemara says Rav Kahana, which is Shoshvina de Matronisa, Isha Chesed, and bring the Eibishter close to the Yidden. Alvel Reb Simi Barashi. Who is Reb Simi Barashi? Rav Ashi was the last one of the Meiron. It's the end. And Reb Simi is his son. And what does Simi mean? The Gemara says in Erevim, Pischi Shimoy, Pesachim Shemim, broken doors. A door has to have a mashkif and two mezuzahs, which is brought in the Oira Torah, is connected to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But Pesach Shemo is broken doors. His connection to Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov is a bissel broken. So Rav Kahana was trying to help out Reb Simi Barashi. But Reb Simi Barashi is a lower generation, the last generation, the son of the last, who was a little bit broken. His connection to Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov is a little bit broken. So to bring down the chesed to the lowest place. So therefore the Gemara continues. That they went to a place that was called Sunisa de Bovel. The Rebbe is like the whole Shas. Is like, so the Rebbe brings it, there's a Rashi in Sanhedrin, in Daf Tzadik Vov, that talks about Sunisa de Bovel. And Al Naras Bovel, Shem Yechashav Nagam Bachinu. It says over there that Sunisa de Bovel is, Rashi explains that the Kolim Roim, Shal Naras Bovel, Sheinim Noishim Pedis, Lefisha Maim Roim Heim Legadol Pedis. Meimorim Nino. Rashi says the waters over there are very bad water. So therefore, in Israel, the waters are very sweet. We spoke about this in the Yizkid. Oh, you were here when I spoke the Shmini Atzeres? I spoke about the plant. You were here when I spoke about the seeds? The Bar Ilan University that they plant. They just planted the seeds from the date, from 2,000 years ago. The date palm trees. First time in history that such a thing. So in Eretz Yisrael, the dates are very sweet. That's Zavas Cholav Dvash. What the Gemara says in Bavel is just the opposite. The water over there is very bitter. So the trees, they grow palm, nice trees, but no fruits. There's no honey, no fruits, there's nothing. Because the water is... no retam, no reach. Yeah, like the fruits in America. It looked very good, a lot of wax on top of it, there's no tam. So the Rebbe says like this. Reb Kahana came with Reb Simi Barashi to a very low place. What was that place? Sunisa de Bavel. Really, what's a dekel? A dekel, the Gemara says, dekel is a tomar, a date tree. The heart of the palm. The heart of the palm is always delicious. Like the heart palm salad, you know. The heart of the palm is always delicious. But the problem is what's going on b'chitzonius. So in Bavel Nebach, there's no peitus. What's peitus? The Gemara says, my peitus mitzvahs, as the Gemara says in Saita. So because there's Mayim Roim, like the Gemara said, the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, bad waters is a spiritually bad thing. So therefore, Pnimius is Leiv Echid Lo'aviv Shabashamayim. But B'chitzonius, there's no fruits coming out. So the Eitzah, the Eitzah, what should we do? So the answer to him, that the Eitzah is that you have to go back deep into your neshama to the place of Odom Rishon. If you go to the place of Odom Rishon in your neshama, then that'll, like we said before, the Odom Rishon in the neshama is the bittul of the neshama to the Eibishter. So if you're going to go to the Odom Rishon part of your neshama, that's when you'll be able to rejuvenate your connection to the Eibishter, and it'll be beautiful fruits. Which fruits? Mitzvahs fruits. Amar Loisa, he said back, Atkara Milsa, now your Eidus made me remind something. Rabbi Yosi, Rabbi Yochanan said, who's Rabbi Yosi? The Gemara says in Sanhedrin, Kol HaYom HaYishoel Noisi, Yevorech Yosi as Yosi. It means the Eibishter, Chas Shem so on. Said something against. So it said Yosi as Yosi. The word Yosi is talking to the Eibishter. And Bar Chanina is, the Eibishter has Chmonas on the Yidden. And the Gemara said, a person says Chanina in the dream, she expects Nisim. So you reminded me of Rabbi Yosi Chanina talking about a barren land. So there's a mile in a barren land and a chisor in the barren land. There is, sometimes we say it's a desert, it's a terrible place. Sometimes we say it's a mile, it's a place that even higher. Shalo yoshev adam sham. Dafka, the highest place, can come to the lowest place to be metaken. Like in Eretz Mitzrayim, a malach and a shliach couldn't do it. The Eibush himself had to come down to the lowest place in the Tumah Mitzrayim. The Eibush himself had to come down. So he said that's so Taka, you reminded me. You're right, Taka. We need the deepest koyach of Odom Rishon in our neshama to heal our connection with the Eibishter, and then the kolim will become good and sweet, and they start having peitus. Okay, this I think. We'll leave it at this. As a whole thing, up in Kabbalah, why the Gemara is brought twice, once in Gemara Brochus and once in Gemara Eidevin. And then he goes into another few pshatim. Api Kabbalah. Makaponim, let's summarize. So we're going out now from Chodesh, now we're standing in the threshold between Cheshvan and Tishrei. We're going out of, we just finished Rosh Chodesh, we're going out from Cheshvan, Tishrei into Cheshvan. So it's Hipoter and Mechaveroi, we're going saying goodbye to the Eibishter. And the Eibishter says, Kol Shalai Pridaschem. So we say, before we have to say goodbye. And that's it. Tonight is already Cheshvan. So the Eibishter says, you know how we're going to say goodbye? Through a Dvar Aloche. Adafka, through a Dvar Aloche, our connection stays strong. Just like two Yidden, their connection stays strong. Yidden and the Eibishter, their connection stays strong through a Dvar Aloche. However, we say, what's the Dvar Aloche? That there's a Lulav Yid. The Yud Lulav is the Limud HaTorah. But we have to connect our Limud HaTorah in a way that we learn it with the Odom Rishon of our Neshama. Learn it in the Odom Rishon of our Neshama, with devotion to the Eibush, the Torah Lishma, so then our connection to Eibush becomes very strong. And Mamela is Halichas Olam. We bring the Eibush into the Kedusha of the Eibush into the world. And with that, we're Zoiche to, just like the Gemara says, the Odom Rishon was Goizer, where there should be a Mokem Yishuv, that through connecting to Odom Rishon and Neshama, we were Zoiche to make that this world should be a Mokem Yishuv. Instead of being a wild place, it should be an inhabitable place. What is a Mokem Yishuv means? Adira B'tachtoinim. So the Eibush should help that on Wednesday night shir, Mitzvah Shem this year, we should be Zoiche and Limud HaTorah. The Eibush should open up our minds and our hearts. We should be mechavan l'mitosah shel Torah. We should be mechavan to the halacha. We should learn it, and the Eibush should help. We should remember it, because when we learn Torah connected to the Odom Rishon of our Neshama, we'll remember. So the Eibush should help that this year that we should learn with the Odom Rishon of our Neshama, and all the halachas that we learn, we should take remember, and we should be mezoicha take to do our job this year, to bring the kedusha of Chodesh Tishrei into the whole winter. Halichas Olam, we should bring that we should, like Odom Rishon, we should be goizer that this place should be a Mokem Yushav, not a jungle, not a place of torture, Rachmana litzlan, not a place of ISIS, not a place of Al Qaeda, not a place of Al Nusra. All the Als, all the Loitasas, all the Al. There should be, instead of all these things, it should be a Mokem Yishuv for the Yechidah Shel Olam. It should be a Dira B'tachtoinim.
Amen.